So, Stephen, I mean, pilgrimage, we know has quite a long history in Christianity, and you've done a number of pilgrimage, but you walk the from Camino to Santiago de Compostela
Yeah.
in Spain a couple of times. But of course, pilgrimage is quite important in the Islamic faith as well. And one of the five pillars, of course, is the pilgrimage to Mecca. In once a lifetime, if you can afford it and are physically and mentally able to do so. But of course, we're also encouraged to do the pilgrimage to Medina and to Jerusalem itself. What do you see as a kind of purpose of pilgrimage, and what's the particular significance of the Santiago de Compostela pilgrimage?
Yeah, I and here I have to. I mean, I do know how central pilgrimage is to Islam, and it's not central to the Christian faith in the same way. And so I think if we were to draw a Venn diagram of how Christians and Muslims see pilgrimage, I think there'd be quite a bit of overlap, but there'd also be some separation. But here you must forgive my ignorance if I'm misunderstanding how you see pilgrimage. I think in the Christian tradition, or perhaps I should say how I see it, which I believe is an Orthodox Christian way of looking at it. It's more about traveling than arriving. It's about what, and so Muslims may see it exactly the same way. I simply don't know. So it would be, it is what happens to you on the journey rather than what happens to you at the destination, which is the benefit of pilgrimage. Which is why I get slightly frustrated with the modern day expression of pilgrimage in Christianity, because it's hugely popular, the idea of pilgrimage. But in many Christian churches, to go on pilgrimage means hiring a bus. You'll get on the bus, you go to the holy place, wherever it is, Canterbury or Holy Island. You get off the bus. There would be a service in the church. Then you'd hit the gift shops and have a picnic, and then you get back on the bus. And I think, well, most Christians throughout history would not really have recognized that as a pilgrimage, because they would have thought it is making the journey and dedicating the journey to God and what you learn on the journey.
Yeah, what you learn about yourself and others. But
I
guess it's John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, I guess, is that story being related, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's about, by making the journey, you have a deeper understanding of your life as a journey. So I would say one of the ways to understand life. Well, what's the difference between somebody, and here I think I will use the phrase of faith, because I think this is something that Christians would share with people of other faiths. So what's the difference that faith makes? Well, we all know life's a journey. You don't need to be a person of faith to know that it begins when you're born, it ends when you die. It's like a journey. And as you get older, you become more aware that there's more road behind you than up ahead of you. There's nothing Christian or religious about that. But faith makes a difference, because the journey which ends in death becomes the pilgrimage, the holy pilgrimage, which leads to God and to, as a Christian, to the life we believe we have with Christ through death and beyond death. And so by making that journey and reflecting upon life as pilgrimage, that would be, as it were, the spiritual benefit. And of course, this is something we would share very much in common with Muslims. There are sacred places associated with our faith where, yes, it is still what happens on the journey, which is fundamental to pilgrimage, but then there is also the experience of renewal of faith at the holy place that we travel to. And we believe that it's not that God is more present in, say, Jerusalem or Rome or Canterbury than other places, but that those places which have been hallowed by the prayers of other pilgrims, of Christian people, and particularly associated with the life of Christ, are what we might call thin places where heaven and earth seem a little closer together than they normally do. So there's also benefit to be found in the place itself.
Makes sense.
But I know when I first walked to Santiago, which is, it is one of the great pilgrimages of the Christian faith, probably the most, apart from Jerusalem and possibly Rome, the most famous place of pilgrimage is Santiago. When I got there, my overwhelming desire was to keep walking.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was my, overwhelming desire to keep walking. And of course, in a way, that was also an important lesson, because a lesson for life as well, that actually it will come to an end.